Captain He stood at the bridge of the EDS Resilient, his eyes fixed on the massive viewscreen before him. The deep black of space stretched endlessly, decorated with countless stars. He had dreamed of this moment since he was a child, but reality felt different from his dreams. It felt bigger, more important. The year was 2157, and humanity had finally done it. They had built their first faster-than-light spaceship. The EDS Resilient wasn't the biggest ship ever built, but it was the first that could jump between stars. Its clean white corridors and bright blue engine glow showed humanity's best engineering work. "Captain," called Du Young from his science station. "The sensors are picking up something strange." Du Young's fingers moved quickly across his screen. He had been the ship's lead scientist for 5 years, and He had never seen him this excited. "It's artificial. Definitely not natural." He walked over to Du Young's station. The screen showed a structure floating in space. It was beautiful, all curved lines and shining metal, like nothing humans had ever built. "Can you tell how big it is?" "About 3 times the size of our ship," Du Young answered. His dark eyes were wide with wonder. "And Captain, it's moving toward us." The bridge grew quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. After centuries of wondering if we were alone in the universe, they were about to find out the answer. "All stations, report," He ordered, his voice calm and steady. "Engines ready," came the first response. "Shields at full power," followed another. "Weapons on standby," added Security Chief Tai, her hand hovering over her console. He nodded. "Keep weapons powered down. We don't want to seem threatening." He straightened his blue uniform. "Let's show them humans know how to make a good first impression." The alien ship grew larger on their screen. It was silver and gold, with parts that seemed to flow like water. Next to it, the EDS Resilient looked like a child's toy made of blocks. A light blinked on the communication panel. "Captain," called Lieutenant Jeho. "They're trying to talk to us." "Put it through," He ordered. The sound that came through the speakers wasn't like anything they had heard before. It was musical, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Then, suddenly, it changed into clear words. "Unknown vessel, this is Ambassador Lyra of the Stellar Confederation. We've been watching your system for some time, waiting for you to develop jump technology. Welcome to the galactic community." He shared a look with his crew before responding. "Ambassador Lyra, I am Captain He of the Earth Defense Ship Resilient. We are honored to make your acquaintance. Would you accept visitors, Captain? Our scientists are very eager to meet you." He thought for a moment. This was moving fast, but wasn't this why they had come out here? "We would be happy to receive you, Ambassador." What happened next surprised everyone. Instead of a shuttle or transport beam, a soft golden light appeared on their bridge. It formed into 3 shapes that became solid. The aliens standing before them were tall and slender, with skin that looked like moonlight on water. Their large eyes were kind, but they showed something else too: worry. Ambassador Lyra was the tallest. She wore flowing robes that seemed to catch light that wasn't there. But as soon as she took a step, everyone noticed something strange. She moved very carefully, as if afraid of falling. "Forgive our caution," she said, her voice just as musical in person. "We're not used to—" She paused, looking around. "Your gravity is quite intense." He checked the ship's readings. "Our artificial gravity is set to Earth normal, 1G. The 3 aliens looked at each other with surprise. 1G. You evolved in these conditions. The scientist behind Lyra pulled out a device. "Fascinating. Your muscle density must be incredible. And your bone structure." He moved the device toward He but almost dropped it. Du Young caught it easily. "Careful," Du Young said with a smile, handing it back. "These devices can be delicate." The alien scientist stared at Du Young's hands. "You caught that so quickly. Your reaction time is remarkable." Ambassador Lyra was studying them all with new interest. Captain Hojin, I must ask, your world, Earth, what are its conditions like? Hojin described Earth, its changing seasons, its different climates, its various terrains. He told them about storms and earthquakes, about deserts and Arctic regions. With each detail, the aliens' expressions grew more amazed. And your people live in all these conditions? Lyra asked. We adapt, Hejin said simply. Humans are good at that. The third alien, who hadn't spoken yet, stepped forward carefully. Ambassador, their biological readings. They're off our charts. The pressure their hearts can handle, the oxygen processing efficiency, the bone density, by our standards. They're super soldiers. Lyra finished quietly. She looked at Hejin with new eyes. Captain, your people evolved on what we would call a Deathworld, a planet that, by our standards, should be too hostile for intelligent life. Hejin wasn't sure how to respond to that. Earth was just Earth. It was home. I assure you, Ambassador, we have no hostile intentions. No, Lyra said quickly. You misunderstand. This is amazing. Most species in the Confederation evolved in much gentler environments. We've never met anyone who developed intelligence in conditions like yours. She tried to take another step, but stumbled slightly. Hejin steadied her with gentle hands. Thank you, she said, looking at his hands with fascination. You're so strong, yet you can be so careful. Most species with your physical capabilities lack fine control. The scientist was still taking readings. Their nervous system is incredibly complex. The level of control they have, it's unprecedented. Captain, Lyra said, her voice serious now. Would you be willing to come to our ship? There are others who should meet you. Your ship can dock with ours safely. Hejin looked at his crew. Du Young nodded eagerly. Tahi looked cautious but interested. We would be honored, Ambassador. The docking process was smooth. When Hejin and his senior staff entered the alien ship, they understood Lyra's reaction to their gravity. The artificial gravity here was much lighter, maybe a quarter of Earth's. They had to move carefully to avoid pushing off too hard. The alien ship was beautiful inside. The walls seemed alive, shifting with soft colors. But what caught their attention were the other aliens. There were many species. Some looked almost like plants, others like living crystals. All of them watched the humans with a mixture of curiosity and surprise. These are representatives from various Confederation worlds, Lyra explained. We've been monitoring Earth for some time, waiting for you to achieve faster-than-light travel. But we didn't know. We didn't realize. Didn't realize what? Hejin asked. A crystalline being stepped forward, its voice chiming like bells. We didn't realize you were apex predators. The humans looked at each other, confused. We're omnivores, Du Young corrected politely. You misunderstand, the crystalline being said. Look around you, humans. Most species here evolved as prey animals. Even our predatory species were not apex predators. But you come from a world where you had to compete with other apex predators. And you won. Hejin thought about Earth's history, about how early humans had competed with wolves, bears, big cats, about how they had survived ice ages and natural disasters, about how they had spread to every corner of their world, adapting to each new challenge. But that's not what makes you truly remarkable, Lyra added. Most species with your physical capabilities are aggressive, uncontrolled. Yet here you stand, moving carefully in our lower gravity, speaking softly, showing concern for our comfort. You're not just strong. You have amazing control over your strength. The humans hadn't thought of themselves this way before. They were just normal. But looking around at these beings who had evolved in gentler worlds, they began to understand. Earth wasn't just a death world. It was the death world. And it had shaped humanity in ways they were only now beginning to understand. Captain Hejin, Lyra said formally, on behalf of the Stellar Confederation, I invite Earth to join our community. We have much to learn from each other. Your people's unique capabilities, combined with your level of control and adaptation, you could help protect species that cannot protect themselves. Hajin looked at his crew, seeing the same pride and responsibility in their eyes that he felt. Ambassador Lyra, Earth would be honored to join the Stellar Confederation, and we will do our best to be worthy guardians. As they began discussing the details of Earth joining the Confederation, Hajin couldn't help but smile. They had come looking for new life among the stars. Instead, they had found not just life, but a new purpose. Humanity, born on a Deathworld, had become something unexpected. Not monsters, but protectors. The journey that started today would change everything. But looking at his crew's excited faces, Hojin knew that humanity was ready for this challenge. After all, adapting to new situations was what humans did best. Medical Officer Kaiwan stared at her computer screen in the Resilience Medical Bay. She had been studying the data from their alien visitors for 3 days straight, and what she found was amazing. She needed to tell the captain right away. Captain Hujin to Medical Bay. She called over the ship's system. You need to see this. Hujin arrived quickly. He had dark circles under his eyes from all the meetings with the Confederation representatives, but he still looked alert. What did you find, Kaiwan? Kaiwan pointed to her screen. Look at these comparisons. I've been studying the biological data from different Confederation species. She pulled up a chart. This shows the physical capabilities of an average human child compared to adult aliens from various worlds. Hejin leaned closer. The numbers were surprising. This can't be right. Are you saying a 10-year-old human child is stronger than an adult from most Confederation worlds? Not just stronger, Kaiwan said, excitement in her voice. Faster, more durable, with better reflexes and stronger bones. Captain, our children would be considered super soldiers on most of their worlds. Hejin sat down heavily in a nearby chair. No wonder they were so surprised by us. But why didn't they evolve to be stronger? Because they didn't need to, Kaiwan explained. Their worlds were peaceful, with stable environments. Earth. She paused, pulling up an image of their home planet. Earth threw everything it had at us. Predators, natural disasters, climate changes. We had to become tough to survive. Their conversation was interrupted by a call from the bridge. Captain, Security Chief Tahi's voice came through. We have a situation. You should come up here. When Hujin reached the bridge, he found Tahi talking with Lieutenant Jiho at the communications station. Their faces were serious. What's wrong? Hujin asked. I've been monitoring Confederation communications, Jiho explained. Most species are excited about meeting us, but there's one group that's not happy. They call themselves the Crystalline Regime. Hajin remembered the crystal-like beings from their first meeting. What's their concern? They think we're dangerous, Tahi said. And in a way, they're right. Their bodies are very fragile. A human sneeze in their environment could crack their outer shell. They're afraid of us. But we would never hurt them on purpose, Hajin protested. They don't know that, Jiho said softly. All they know is that we're incredibly strong by their standards, and we come from a world they consider impossibly hostile. Just then, another call came through. Hejin's face went pale as he listened. A colony ship carrying Earth families had disappeared near crystalline space. His sister Myre and her children were on that ship. Get me Ambassador Lyra, Hejin ordered, his voice tight with worry. When Lyra's face appeared on the screen, she already looked concerned. Captain Hajin, we just heard about the colony ship. The Confederation Council is meeting right now to discuss this. My sister is on that ship, Ambassador. We need to search for them. The Crystalline Regime denies any involvement, Lyra said, but they're demanding that all human ships stay away from their space. They say it's too dangerous to have humans near their worlds. Hajin felt anger rising inside him, but he controlled it carefully. Getting angry would only prove their fears right. Ambassador, those colonists are civilians. Families. Children. We have to find them. I agree, Lyra said. But we must be careful. The crystalline regime has many allies. They're spreading fear about humans throughout the Confederation. Some are even calling for Earth to be quarantined. Du Young, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward. Ambassador, if I may. We've learned something interesting about human biology. He explained Kaiwan's findings about human children. This is both amazing and concerning, Lyra said. It proves humans are even more remarkable than we thought, but it might also increase the fear some species feel. Or, Hejin said slowly, it could prove something else. Our children are physically powerful, yes, but they're also gentle. They play with small pets, handle delicate toys, take care of younger siblings. We learn to control our strength from a very young age. Lyra's eyes widened. You're right. This could be important. But first, we need to find your colony ship. The next few hours were busy. The Resilient prepared for a search mission, while trying not to provoke the crystalline regime. Kaiwan kept studying the biological data, looking for anything that might help them understand their new allies and potential enemies better. Captain, Du Young called out suddenly. I'm picking up something strange. It's a very weak signal, but it's using Earth frequencies. Hejin rushed to his station. Can you trace it? It's coming from an abandoned solar system, just outside crystalline space. The signal is too weak to carry a message, but it's definitely from Earth technology. The colony ship, Hejin said. It has to be. But why there? Tahi studied the star charts. That system has no habitable planets. No one goes there. It would be a perfect place to hide a ship. Or to strand one, Jaho added grimly. Hejin made his decision. Plot a course to that system. But first, send a message to Ambassador Lyra. Tell her what we found and where we're going. We'll do this right. No sneaking around. As the Resilient prepared to jump to the abandoned system, Hejin thought about what they had learned. Humans were incredibly strong compared to most species in the galaxy. Their toughness, evolved over millions of years on Earth, made them seem frightening to others. But that same evolution had taught them something else: how to be careful with those weaker than themselves, how to control their strength, how to protect instead of harm. Message from Ambassador Lyra, Jaho announced. She says the Confederation Council has approved our search mission. They're sending observers from different species to go with us. Hejin nodded. Good. Let them come. Let them see how humans handle a crisis. We'll show them that being strong doesn't mean being dangerous. As the ship prepared to jump, Hejin thought about his sister and her children. He would find them. And in doing so, he would show the galaxy that humans could be trusted with their strength. The stars stretched and twisted as the Resilient entered jump space. They were on their way to find the missing colonists, but they were also on their way to proving something important. Earth might be a death world, but it had produced protectors, not monsters. Kaiwan's voice came over the ship's system. Captain, I found something else in the biological data, something about human adaptability. You should see this before we reach the abandoned system. On my way, Hejin replied. Whatever Kaiwan had found, he knew it would be important. Every piece of information about human biology helped them understand their place in this new galactic community. As he walked to the medical bay, Hejin realized that Earth's harsh conditions hadn't just made humans physically strong. They had also made humans mentally tough, able to face new challenges without breaking. They would need that toughness now, as they faced their first real test in the galactic community. The missing colony ship wasn't just a crisis to be solved. It was a chance to show the galaxy who humans really were, and Hejin was determined to make sure they showed their best qualities, not just their strength, but their wisdom, their care, and their ability to protect those who needed protection. The abandoned solar system was dark and quiet. The EDS Resilient moved slowly between dead planets, following the weak signal from the colony ship. Captain He-jin watched the main screen carefully, looking for any sign of movement. Signal is getting stronger, Du Young reported from his station. The colony ship should be just past that large asteroid. They found the ship floating silently in space. Its engines were dark, but He-jin could see lights in some windows. That meant people were still alive inside. Life support is working, Kai-won said, checking her readings. They're using backup power, but they're okay. He-jin felt relief wash over him. His sister Mireille was alive. But why was the ship here, and who had brought it? Captain, Jai-ho called from his station. I'm picking up some strange messages. They're encrypted, but he worked quickly at his console. There. Listen to this. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in the musical language of the crystalline people. Jai-ho's computer translated it. The humans must be contained. Their aggressive evolution could infect the entire galaxy. The colony ship was just the first step. There's more, Jai-ho said. Messages between different groups. They're afraid we'll spread our violent nature to other species. They think we'll teach others to be like us. He-jin thought about this. They don't understand. We didn't choose to evolve this way. Earth made us strong because we had to be strong to survive. Captain, called Tai. 3 ships just appeared on our sensors. Crystalline design. The ships were beautiful but dangerous looking. Their crystal surfaces reflected the distant starlight like sharp edges. They're hailing us, Jai-ho reported. The face that appeared on their screen was made of living crystal. Light moved through it in patterns that showed emotions. Right now, those patterns showed fear and anger. This is Commander Prism of the Crystalline Defense Force, the being said. You have entered restricted space. Leave immediately. This is Captain He-jin of the EDS Resilient. We're here for our colony ship. These are innocent civilians you've taken. Innocent? Commander Prism's voice chimed with disbelief. Your children are stronger than our soldiers. Your civilians could break our walls by accident. You are all dangerous, whether you mean to be or not. He-jin took a deep breath. Getting angry wouldn't help. Commander, please listen. We understand your fears, but taking our people won't solve anything. Let us show you who we really are. And who are you? Prism asked. A species that evolved on a world that would kill most of us in minutes. A species that sees our strongest defenses as fragile glass. How can we trust such beings? Because we know how to be careful, Kai-won said suddenly. She had come up to stand beside He-jin. Look at your own data. Humans have incredible strength, yes, but we also have amazing control. We can handle your most delicate technology without breaking it. Our children learn to be gentle with small animals and fragile toys. It's true, Du Young added. Earth didn't just make us strong. It taught us to control our strength, because we had to protect things weaker than ourselves. Just then, a new ship appeared. It was Ambassador Lyra's vessel, with representatives from many species aboard. Commander Prism, Lyra's voice came through clearly. The Confederation Council has reviewed the situation. The colony ship must be returned, and we have something to show you. The main screen split to show a scene from Earth. It was a human hospital, where doctors and nurses were caring for tiny, fragile babies. Their gentle hands worked with incredible care, protecting the smallest and weakest of their own species. This is who they are, Lyra said softly. Yes, they are strong, but they use that strength to protect, to heal, to help. He-jin saw the light patterns in Commander Prism's crystal face change. The fear was still there, but now, there was also confusion, and maybe a little wonder. The colony ship's engines were damaged when they were brought here, Prism said finally. They cannot move on their own. Then we'll help them, He-jin said. With your permission, Commander, we'll send our engineers to repair their engines. You can watch everything we do. The crystalline ships moved aside, letting the Resilient approach the colony ship. Engineering teams in spacesuits moved carefully between the ships, their movements slow and controlled despite their great strength. Inside the colony ship, Hejin found Myre and her children safe. She hugged him tight, her eyes wet with tears. "We were so scared at first," she told him. "But then something strange happened. The crystalline people who took us, they started to change their minds about us." "What do you mean?" Myre smiled. "The children. They were fascinated by the crystalline people. They asked to draw pictures of them. And when they did, they were so careful not to make any loud noises or sudden movements that might frighten them. The crystalline people couldn't understand how such strong beings could be so gentle." Hejin looked around the colony ship. The walls were covered with children's drawings. Pictures of humans and crystalline people together, drawn with careful hands that could have crushed the crayons, but instead used them to create beauty. "Captain," Jaho called through the communicator. "Ambassador Lyra wants to speak with you. She says it's important." In the colony ship's communication room, Lyra's face appeared on the screen. She looked both worried and hopeful. "Captain, the council has been watching everything," she said. "They've seen how your people handled this crisis, how you chose peace over power, how even your children understand the need to be gentle with those more fragile than themselves. What does this mean for Earth's relationship with the Confederation?" Hejin asked. "It means we understand you better now," Lyra said. "Your world may be a death world to us, but it created something remarkable. A species with not just the strength to survive anything, but the wisdom to use that strength carefully." As repair work continued on the colony ship, Hejin watched crystalline engineers working alongside human engineers. They moved carefully around each other, learning to understand each other's needs and limitations. "Maybe that's the real gift Earth gave us," he thought. "Not just the strength to survive, but the understanding that strength means nothing without control, without compassion." The crisis wasn't over. There would be more challenges ahead as humans found their place in the galactic community. But they had shown something important today. They had shown that being from a death world didn't make them monsters. It made them protectors. And sometimes, that was exactly what the galaxy needed. 3 weeks had passed since the colony ship incident. The EDS Resilient was now docked at a huge space station where representatives from all Confederation species had gathered. Captain Hejin watched through a window as his niece, Yumna, played with alien children in a special room designed for interspecies meetings. The room was divided into different sections, each with its own gravity and atmosphere to suit different species. What amazed everyone was how carefully Yunha moved between these sections, adjusting her movements for each environment. "She's a natural diplomat," Mayray said, standing next to her brother. "Yesterday, she helped a young crystalline child who had cracked its outer shell. Her hands were so steady, so gentle as she helped apply the healing solution." Hejin smiled, remembering how scared the crystalline people had been of humans just weeks ago. Children often understand things better than adults. They don't overthink it. They just see someone who needs help and give it. Medical Officer Kaiwan approached them, carrying a datapad. "Captain, you should see this. We've finished our study of how humans adapt to different environments. The data showed something remarkable. Humans could live comfortably in conditions that would kill most other species. But more importantly, they could quickly learn how to interact safely with beings far more fragile than themselves. It's not just physical adaptation," Kaiwan explained. "Our brains are wired to learn and adjust quickly. We automatically change how we move and act based on our surroundings." Ambassador Lyra floated into the room, using her species' natural anti-gravity ability. "That's exactly what the Council wants to discuss, Captain. Your people's adaptability is unprecedented." They walked together to the Council chamber, a huge room with sections for each member species. Hejin noticed that the crystalline section, which had been empty during previous meetings, was now full. Commander Prism stood to speak first. The light patterns in his crystalline body showed a mix of emotions. 3 weeks ago, I believe humans were too dangerous to join our community. I was wrong. He gestured to a screen showing Yuna helping the injured crystalline child. This young human showed us something important. She has enough strength to shatter our strongest crystals, yet she can touch our children with the gentleness of a morning breeze. That's precisely why we've called this meeting, Lyra said. We've been thinking about Earth's classification wrong. We called it a death world because it would kill most of us. But that's not what makes Earth special. Do Young, who had been analyzing data from various worlds, stepped forward. Earth isn't just harsh, it's always changing. Our planet taught us to adapt, to be flexible, to handle anything it threw at us. But it also taught us to protect things weaker than ourselves. Life on Earth is both strong and fragile, Kaiwan added. We learned to be strong enough to survive, but gentle enough to avoid harming the delicate things around us. Every human child learns this balance. A new voice spoke up. It was a being made of what looked like living gas, contained in a special environment suit. We fear the human strength, yet we've seen them use it only to protect. Their children play with our children. Their doctors are learning to treat our injuries. Their engineers are helping design safer spaces for all species. Hajin watched as more representatives spoke. Each had stories about how humans had helped them in the past weeks. The plant-like species talked about human gardeners who had already learned to care for their seedlings. The liquid form beings praised human engineers who had designed better containment suits for them. Which brings us to our proposal, Lyra said. We want to create a galactic exchange program. Humans would serve as protectors, teachers, and helpers throughout the Confederation. In return, other species would share their knowledge and technology. Tahi, who had worried about security issues, looked thoughtful. It would help everyone understand each other better. When you work together, fear turns into trust. Jaiho added his own observations. I've been studying the language patterns of different species. When they first met us, they used words meaning dangerous and frightening to describe humans. Now they use words meaning protector and helper. The council chamber filled with the sounds of agreement in many different languages. Even the crystalline representatives' light patterns showed positive emotions. Later that day, Hujin found Yunhe teaching a group of alien children how to draw. She had figured out how to help each species hold the drawing tools in their own way. A young crystalline child was carefully creating patterns of light on a special screen designed for their kind. Uncle Hejin, Yunhe called out, "Look what we made." The children had drawn their own worlds, each one different and beautiful. But in each picture, there were humans, shown as helpful figures, protecting and teaching. You know, Mayray said, watching the scene, maybe this is why Earth made us so strong. Not just so we could survive, but so we could help others survive too. The next few days were busy with planning. The exchange program would start small, with human volunteers working closely with different species. They would learn about each other's needs and abilities. Humans would teach others how to be stronger, while learning the unique skills each species had developed. It's funny, Hejin said to Lyra as they watched the preparations. When we first met, everyone thought Earth was a death world because it would kill most species. But Earth didn't just make us strong enough to survive there. It made us able to help others survive anywhere. Lyra's expression showed understanding. That's why we were wrong to call Earth just a death world. It's a teacher world. It taught your species the most important lesson of all. That true strength isn't about how much power you have, but how carefully you use it. As the Resilient prepared for its next mission, Hejin looked at his crew. They had learned so much in these past weeks. They had shown the galaxy that coming from a death world didn't make them monsters. It made them perfect protectors for a universe full of wonderful, fragile life. Kaiwan's research continued to reveal new things about human adaptability. Each discovery helped other species understand humans better, and helped humans understand their role in the galaxy better. The story of humanity's introduction to the galactic community would be told many times in the years to come. But the most important part wasn't about their strength or their world's harsh conditions. It was about how Earth had taught humanity the perfect balance, to be strong enough to protect and gentle enough to care. Earth wasn't just a death world. It was TET Deathworld, the one that had created a species capable of thriving anywhere while helping others thrive too. And that made all the difference in the galaxy.